I can't do yoga. Hello. So I'm Amy Malincott. I am the person, the human behind Hania Therapies. I can't do yoga. What does that mean? What does that mean? So I hear this a lot. And I used to hear this a lot as a dancer and a dance facilitator within the SEN, the special needs sector. I can't dance, I can't do yoga, I can't do this, I can't do that. I can. And I'm sure that you can think of some stuff that you automatically identify as your can'ts. So they might not be yoga, they might be something else. So maybe for me, it'd be something to do with like thinking, like I can't do science, I can't do maths, I can't do. And most of them are conditioned things. They're not even our thoughts. And the reality is that they're just not true. But the more that we keep saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't cook, I can't be creative, I can't start this business, I can't go on that trip, I don't know, whatever you think or whatever you're saying verbally that you can't do, well, you're going to have a really tricky time if you're going to start doing it. It's going to be really tricky because you're constantly feeding yourself the can't story. Constantly feeding ourselves, and then that creates our reality, how we perceive the world around us, how we experience our life. So where does the I can't do yoga come from? So if I teach training stuff, and I ask a staff team, a staff body, group of school teachers or whatever, what's yoga, or what do you think yoga is? Let's chat about that. Maybe you already have a quite established yoga or self-care practice and you have quite an in-depth understanding. Then that's brilliant. But we have to be compassionate and we have to be understanding that a lot of people might not have that. And when I ask this question, what is yoga? Often what comes back is stretching, exercise, good posture. And it tends to be things around that, really. It tends to be it. And then someone will show me a stretch that they've seen on yoga on telly or something like that, which is always great. And it is part of yoga. Absolutely, our physical practice is part of yoga. Doing things like a downward dog or an up dog or a touch your toes or whatever. It's all part of yoga, absolutely. But it's more than that, isn't it? Yoga is union with your physical body, with things outside of your physical body, with your family, your friends, your community, with the earth, with the divine. It's about union. So if we're saying I can't do yoga, we're saying I can't connect, which is just rubbish. It's not true, is it? It's not true. But at the same time, we all want to be able to access physical movement within our body. Like, we've been gifted this body. Some people's bodies work more than others. And also, the more that we move our body, the more ready it is to do movement. That's just a fact. Move it or lose it. Is that the saying? Move it or lose it? I don't think that's the use it or lose it. If anyone knows what the saying is, they can tell me. But move it or lose it. If we stop moving, the body goes well, there's no need for me to be able to do that. So our range of movement, our flexibility reduces, our mobility reduces, our strength decreases, because like attracts like. If we're not doing, why would our body facilitate a space to do it, if that makes sense? You know, move it or lose it. So we then get to a point where we feel a little bit stuck, and we see all these like really fancy yoga things and all these like, oh, well, we go to yoga, we do a headstand. Someone came to my class the other day and were like, oh, I didn't really like yoga because I went to my first class and we had to do a headstand. And I thought, oh, well, we probably won't be doing any yoga headstands in my classes. Not really my vibe. If you'd like to, it's great. I love a headstand, but it's not the essence of yoga. A headstand shifts our perspective. It increases our circulation, helps our circulation, helps our lymphatic drainage, shifts our perspective, like I say, literally, because we start to see things the other way up. Could we do those things a different way? Absolutely. How could we shift our perspective without standing on our head? Yeah, so it requires us to become a little bit more creative. And that's throughout the entire physical practice, our asana practice, our physical practice of yoga. We can adapt, we can change, we can explore how we move our bodies. So if I'm working with somebody who identifies as somebody who can't do yoga, first we chat about it, we explore it, we figure out where that belief has come from, and then we go through a process of exploring together. You can do yoga, or you can dance, you can move, you can stretch, you can strengthen. Because I don't believe that you could bring me, anybody, and we not go through that process. If you want to shift your belief, like if you don't and you want to identify as not doing it, then that's fine. But if you want to go through this process on your own and you want to start figuring out, how can I then do yoga? How can I move my body? How can I stretch? And you maybe don't want to go to a class, or you maybe, say for example, you just want to do a few little bits online, whether that's on YouTube or say my membership or whatever. We have to start slowly, and we have to figure out the reason that we are doing a movement. Why are we doing it? So number one, always yoga union, to connect to our body. So we have to listen. If something doesn't feel okay, we say stop. Number one. So we're uniting with our body. We're listening to its warning signs, its signals, whatever we want to call it. We're listening to it, what we could call our somatic responses, our physical responses. And then if you see, so I'm going to do it quite simply. Where should we go with this? Maybe I should have thought about this before arriving to chat about it. I can't do planning. There we go. All right, yeah, easy one. Okay, so a lot of you will have seen before people coming onto all fours into a tabletop position. So I'll do a demonstration. So coming here, we might think, for a lot of us, this is really, really easy. Really easy to come onto all fours. You know, it's an integral part of our yoga practice. Come into this place, and then from here, we mobilize the spine. Yeah, so we get a little bit of movement through the spine. Is this accessible for everybody? Absolutely not. Unfortunately, when we go into a yoga class, most of the people are able to do it because the rest of us have been scared off. Yeah. So for me, if I'm working with someone and I'm wanting to, the purpose of that there in that instance, we'd look at, maybe we first look at the wrists, so we can look at how to mobilize the wrists, and we can do that seated on a chair, can't we? So if we're thinking our wrists are like this, we can come to a chair, we can start to work with the wrists. We can look at the spine mobilization. We already know we can do this movement whilst we're sat on the ground. The spine is doing exactly the same. So if you're coming or going or trying to practice online a class and you're like, no, I can't do yoga because I can't go onto all fours, for example, because I've got a plaster falling off my finger, because I've got arthritis in my wrist, so I can't flex my wrist like this. It's just not happening. I can't go onto all fours. It's fine. Figuring out what is the purpose of the exercise. Is it to work with the wrist? Then maybe we could look at really gentle, whatever it is. Or is it the spine? Because if it's the spine, we can do that seated. We can actually do that laying down. We can do that standing up. What is the purpose of what you are doing? And that goes for everything. Why are we doing this? Why? And maybe you explore that on your own. Maybe you explore that with a teacher or a therapist or whatever. But when we start to look at why we're doing something, whether it's to connect to the body, whether it's to move a certain joint, such as the shoulders, the hips, or engage the core, or whatever it is, we can find a different way to do it. And we can do that for ourselves, but we can do that with support as well. And then I suppose just for a moment, I'll dive a tiny bit deeper as well, because I also know that there'll be people who are thinking, yeah, well, Amy, that's great, but I can't sit on the floor. I can't even sit on a chair. I can't, I've worked with students who can only move their eyes. It's fine. We can work with intention. We set the intention to connect to our spine. We send the breath in and through the spine. We try to see if we can feel the spine in the body, if we can notice where it is. Maybe it just starts as a visualization and we visualize our own spine if we do not have a sensory awareness, a feeling of the skeletal structure. Start with intention, start with visualization. There is always somewhere to go. You could do a whole yoga class breathing and visualizing it in your mind. We can go through the same energetic or receive the same energetic effects via that visualization, that intention process. In some schools of yoga, you go through a visualization process before you go through the physical process. That visualization, that imagining of those postures, of that flow, prepare the physical body for going through it in a physically mechanical kind of a way. So maybe that's just something for you to think about. Everybody can do yoga. Yoga, union. Let's not make it complicated. It doesn't need to be. Make it simpler. All right, if that sort of resonates with you or is useful just to get you going like, yeah, actually I can do something. I can, as opposed to I can't, which starts to shape our reality, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications when I upload a new video of my thoughts. And yeah, so make sure you subscribe and share with anyone else, because I'm sure you've got people in your life that say I can't. Yeah, and I'll pop the information about the membership portal as well, so you can practice and explore what I'm talking about in your own time. You can pause the videos and go, oh yeah, okay, how do I move my spine? How can I move my shoulders? How can I connect to my fingertips? Whatever it might be, you can explore that on the membership portal. Okay, lots and lots and lots of love, and yeah, union with yourself first, and then everything else will follow.